Did it start as a protest book? Is that how it was conceived?
No, it was. Just thought it was a very nice human story to do. I didn't think of it as a piece of CND propaganda, which is what lots of people said it was, or communist propaganda, which other people said it was. It was just done as from the human point of view, and I wasn't even a member of CND at the time.
And the two characters, Jim and Hilda, are they based on people known to you?
Well, they're somewhat like my parents, though I like to think my parents weren't quite as dim as they are, but they have to be dim to follow, protect and survive, you see. So I couldn't make them of normal intelligence.
In order to do the book, you went and collected all the relevant leaflets, didn't you, which are issued to the civilian population.
Yes.
With regard to an explosion of this kind.
Yeah. Oh, well, I thought they were quite funny. I thought Protect and Survive was quite good, and there's a local one in West Sussex called the Householder's Survival Guide, and they contradict one another on some fundamental points, which was quite interesting. Protect and Survive says remove thin materials from windows, and the West Sussex one says hang white sheets in the windows. So that was really rather good. I had to put that bit in.
Massive Russian troop movements continue along the East German border.
Crumbs!
What's the matter, dear?
This is it, Dux. This is really it. It's lucky I got more leaflets from the public library only this morning. I gave the first lot to our Ron. Here we are, see? Protect and Survive, and the Householder's Survival Guide. Now, this one should be really authoritative. It's printed by the County Council. We'd better commence the construction of the inner core or refuge immediately, dear. We must do the correct thing.
There's treacle tart and custard or cold bread and butter pudding.
Treacle tart.
Do you think it had any effect? Has it had any effect on people's thinking? Or on the government's thinking?
Oh, no, it wouldn't affect the government's thinking. I don't think they think about it, really. Or at least they don't imagine about it. It's affected, various people who've written to me, particularly a little girl in Australia, said that she'd never thought about it before, and she's now working as best she can for the peace movement and has written to Mr. Fraser and sent him a copy of the book. And another lady in Arizona, I think it was, in America, has done something similar. She said she read it on the bus on the way home, cried all the way home, and she's now become a really dedicated worker for peace and so on. So I suppose it must have affected some people.
Just you be careful. Mind that paint. Be careful of that stair carpet. Mind the wallpaper.
It's all right.
Raymond Briggs's first radio script starts to take shape in Studio B10.
I hope you know what you're doing.
It's a production by the assistant head of radio drama, John Tydeman.
Bag.
Brenda Bruce and Peter Sallis have the tough job of making us believe in the almost incredibly naive Jim and Hilda. John, did you know the work of Raymond Briggs before this script came to you?
Yes, I had it for my birthday, and I'd read it and been very, very moved by it. So therefore, I was quite surprised when the script came in.
What form did
delighted.
it come in? Did Raymond just send it to you?
Well, yeah. Two people, in fact, had actually suggested doing an adaptation of it, and we thought, well, it's impossible, it's a cartoon book. And then suddenly, out of the blue, Raymond sent in the script, and he showed that it was absolutely possible. He'd done it.
One might have supposed that a strip cartoon would transfer more easily into television than radio.
Well, only as a strip cartoon, I think, because I can remember seeing over Christmas a television cartoon version of Raymond's Snowman, which I thought was marvellous. I think you could only do this on television as a cartoon, because in television I think that you expect a reality, you expect an actuality. I don't think television is very successful at stylisation. The theatre can do it, but I don't think television can. Radio can, because you can, each listener will imagine the full horror. They will each have their own picture of it.
Well, the inner core or refuge looks quite cosy, doesn't it, dear?
I hope those doors aren't marking the wallpaper, James.
Come in and dry it out, please, dear.
Budge up. Can't you, James?
Careful, you'll have it over.
Couldn't you made it a bit wider?
It's constructed in compliance with governmental specifications, dear.
Well, they might have made it wide enough for 2 people. Suppose you were married.
We are married, dear.
Yes, well, there you are then. What about if you had children? Where would they go?
Oh, you just hold them in your arms. They'd soon fall asleep.
You get used to seeing it on paper and you might think it's all right, but then when you hear it done by really good actors, it's really amazing. It was very actually upsetting at the read-through, because when you're writing, it takes several weeks to write and then another 18 months or so to illustrate it, and I got completely detached from it in all that time, I think. And having the whole lot thrown at you in the space of an hour, it was much more moving than I thought it was. I thought it was quite funny, the book, actually. But it was quite upsetting.
Do you think they'll invade?
Oh, no, won't need to. It'll all be done by missiles, long range. Then they'll instill commuters to take charge of us.
It's funny to think there's no shelters this time. We had an old Anderson in the garden. I can see it now. We had nasturtiums growing all over it, and we painted the front green. It looked quite pretty. Next door grew cabbages on theirs.
Yes. We had a Morrison. I used to sleep in it. I stuck pin-up girls all over the inside. Betty Grable, Anne Shelton, Patricia Rock, yeah? The roof got all smoky because I used to read in bed with a candle.
Yes, it was nice in the war, really. The shelters, the blackout.
The all clear, cups of tea, the ARP.
Evacuees. London kids seeing cows for the first time.
Old Churchill on the wireless. The 9 o'clock news.
Workers' playtime. Itmar.
There were Spitfires and Hurricanes up in the blue sky, vapour trails.
Old Jerry used to come over every night.
Those were
There
the
were days.
Vera Lynn singing away. There'll be bluebirds over
The white cliffs of Dover. Tomorrow, just you wait and see.
So I'm a bit fed up with illustrating. I've been doing it for every day of my life for 20-odd years, and it's very laborious and very repetitive, and I much more enjoy the writing, really, because it's relatively simpler and quicker. I mean, with this book, When the Wind Blows, you write it in about 4 or 5 weeks and spend the next 18 months illustrating it, doing 650 pictures of the same person. If you do a radio play, you just write it, and when you've written it, it's finished. At least my part in it is finished. And you haven't got to sit down and draw a head every time it speaks, you know.
Are you going to have to issue any kind of warning? Because there is an announcement, isn't there, of impending disaster, as it were, delivered in world of one tones.
Yes.
How are you going to avoid people mistaking that for the real thing?
Well, of course, that is a worry. I mean, say someone were to put on the radio just at that moment when they hear the 3-minute warning. We're aware that someone could think, my God, this is the real thing. I mean, this is part of the terror of the whole thing, that should actually be possible, you know, that we could think, God, that really is. It's a 3-minute warning, not a 4-minute warning that we have in this. So we're aware of that problem, so we had to write it in such a way that it is going to be quite clear to the listener that this is something that is coming out of a radio set and not actually happening in the here and now of the world at one.
You can wear your old clothes for the bomb and save your best for afterwards.
All right, dear. But is there an old white one? Without stripes? I don't want stripes all over me.
There's an old one in the air in the kitchen, but it won't be ironed.
That's all right, dear.
I'm forever
We are interrupting this
blowing
programme
bubbles,
for an official
pretty
government announcement.
bubbles in the air.
An enemy missile attack
Shut up!
launched against this country.
For God's sake, shut up!
Like you and your blessed news.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
God almighty, Dux, there's only 3 minutes to go.
Oh.
Stay indoors.
Oh, dear.
And take cover.
I'll just get the washing in.
Lie
Come
down.
back, you stupid
Keep
bitch,
away
and
from
get
windows.
inside.
How dare
Cover
you
your
talk
head.
to me like
Shut
that?
up and get in the
Do not
shelter.
look
There's no
outside.
need to forget
Or
our
through
manners
windows.
just
Get in.
because there's a war
Get
on.
in, get
I've never
in.
heard such language in my
For
life.
God's sake, get in.
Do not leave your home.
Oh, dear. I've left the oven on.
This as an
The
official
cake will
government
be
announcement.
burnt.
Well done, yeah, fine. They go buy that one.
Since finishing the book, I've read stacks and stacks of books and leaflets and things about it, and I hadn't realised before how terrible the whole thing is. I think it was Dimbleby himself said that it's not apathy that stops people protesting more, it's ignorance.
There's nothing like a cup of tea. Crumbs! I must be dreaming. The news. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's all dead.
What about the telly?
Yes, of course. They may have filmed it all. We may see our bomb on the news. No, it's all dead.
No picture.
No,
Not even just the voices.
no. Nothing. All dead.
All dead.
Put the kettle on, will you, ducks?
There's no water, dear.
Oh, no, of course. Oh, we'll just have to have milk then.
That pint has gone bad, dear. The fridge has been off.
Oh, heck. Well, black coffee then.
There's still no water, dear.
Well, what are we going to drink? Eh? I ask you. What are we going to drink, for God's sake?
Don't shout, dearest.
I'm sorry. I'm just terribly...
Oh, how about a nice sweet, dear? There's only one left. It's a black currant throat pastille.
You have it.
No, you have it.
Well, we'll cut it in half. That's fair.
Do you think that it's going to actually affect people's attitude towards the bomb to make them want to go out and march for CND or do something about it? What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't think that is the intention, but I hope that people will be made more aware of the horror that could occur when, or if, when, how awful to say when, if the bomb were in fact to go off. I think it will colour people. I hope it does. I mean, one's not talking about multilateral or unilateral disarmament. One is talking about there being no armament at all.
Oh, look. There's funny blue spots on my legs.
Various veins. That's what it is.
Oh.
It's a common complaint amongst the middle-aged segment of the populace. It's nothing to worry about.
It don't look like babes to me. I don't like the look of it.
Oh, you are a baby. You're a born warrior, you are. Now, try and look on the bright side, hey, Duck? Look. Even I've got funny blotches on my skin. I'm a man. Too much skipped tin food, that's all it is.
Bill just never disagreed with me.
We have a sing-song, dear. Take your mind off it. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So, back up